former distinguished IPS officer and former NSA Mauritius. I invite Dr. Sujat Ali Qadri. Please come, take your respective chair. I invite Dr. Kim Ziauddin, Head Department of Sociology and convener of this seminar. Let me inform you, Honorable Vice Chancellor may not be able to come due to certain urgent engagements. Dean of School of Social Sciences will join us later. He is on the way. Well, distinguished dignitaries, the guest of this session on the dais, and dignitaries of the dais, Dean, Student Welfare, Head of the departments here, faculty members, participants, and dear students. I welcome you all to this one-day international seminar on building a Viksit Bharat through inclusive education, challenges and opportunities for Indian Muslims. We are going to start this session formally with MANUU Tarana. I request IMC team to play MANUU Tarana.
یہ باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا یہ باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا آؤ سفر یہاں سے کرے آسمان کا باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا علم و کمال فضل و شعر و شعور تک پھیلی ہے دل نواز مہک دور دور تک ملتا یہاں نصاب ہے سارے جہان کا یہ باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا یہ باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا ہر نقش و رنگ و بو سے کرو اپنی گفتگو آزاد درس گاہ کی ہے یہ بھی جستجو سب فاصلہ مٹاتے چلو درمیان کا باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا غرب و جنوب سے ہو کے شرق و شمال سے آگے بڑھو خیال ملا دو خیال سے چرچا ہو کائنات میں ہندوستان کا یہ بات बाबे शहरे इल्म है उर्दू ज़बान का। फसले सदा बहार से बस्ती बसी रहे, मिलकर दुआ करो कि ये खेती हरी रहे, साया रहे सरों पे किसी साहिबान का। आओ सफर यहाँ से करें आसमान का। ये बाबे शहरे इल्म है उर्दू ज़बान का। ये बाबे शहरे इल्म है उर्दू ज़बान का।
Thank you so much. Well, the relevance of this seminar is very much, friends. See, it's very important to put certain, government policies to critical analysis. Academics should not become cheerleaders of the government, just like we can see most of the media has become today. There should, there should be like a strength or an audacity among the academics to speak truth to power. I'm sure, I don't know how much justice we will be able to do this in one day seminar in order to understand this, the whole idea of Viksit Bharat. We need to understand whether this is mere a manufactured narrative or the government is seriously doing something under this umbrella. Well, of course, we would have many questions, and this seminar will address those. So let us understand now. I'll invite Dr. Ziauddin, the convener of this conference, to understand what are the really questions or the focus of this seminar. So I invite him to deliver welcome address and introducing the theme of this seminar.
A very good morning. Assalamu alaikum. This is indeed a pleasure to begin any important seminar that is pertinent to the national development, inclusive growth, and society's benefit. This seminar is one of those thematic program that addresses the questions of criticality, questions of existence of a society, and how education plays an important role. As all of you could see, this is very important. With this, let me first welcome to the one of the very senior bureaucrat of the country, Dr. Shantanu Mukherjee Sahab, who we still feel to be a serving IPS, who in fact his presence in the bureaucracy came in 1976. This is the time when many of us just born or must be a young infant. Shantanu is having a long history of serving with the various organizations. In fact, he served with 4 prime ministers of the country of India as SPG chief. He served as national security advisor to Mauritius. He served at various capacities of the government of India, apart from routine services that any bureaucrat would do. But this is not his introduction. His introduction and his presence lies with the kind of interest, passion, and commitment he has to understand literature, art, culture, and the whole life world, how society is transforming. And his understanding, what I could interact last evening, that his understanding about the way Indian society has changed, the way Hindustani tehzeeb jis tarah se badal rahi hai, the way he looked upon all these concerns are something purely sociological, purely anthropological, and not somebody who served for long years in bureaucracy. His readings on various literatures and connecting those dots to Hyderabad is also very welcome. It is indeed a pleasure to have you as chief guest in this one-day international seminar on building a Viksit Bharat through inclusive educations, challenge and opportunities for Indian Muslim. We are pleased to have you on behalf of the Department of Sociology, Maulana Azad National Urdu University. This is his first visit to this campus, and I'm sure you would enjoy talking to the youngest generation of your time, who are the hope of the nations. So thank you so much, sir. I welcome you on behalf of the university. I also welcome Dr. Sujat Ali Qadri, who is guest of honor, a very important person. He does a lot of community work, social work. He is an intellectual. He works as a think tank, and his long commitment to the questions of education, marginalizations, and inclusive society has been noted in various forums. He is also associated with MSO as chairman, based in Delhi-based organizations, which is very important. And through the identity of an individual, the commitment of an individual comes with two paradigms. One is that individually you do a lot of service, you do work. You also commit through certain organizations, and this is the basic principle of human life. So we welcome you at Maulana Azad National Urdu University. This is your first visit, and this is the pleasure of the department to have you here as guest of honor. Let me also welcome one of our very warm and loved professor of sociology, Professor Azra Abidi. She is head of the department at Jamia Millia Islamia, and she is here as keynote speaker. She agreed to deliver a very short time because we're also worried about few other commitments. But thank you so much for agreeing and coming to deliver keynote. Professor Azra Abidi works a lot in the area of education, gender equality, questions of Indian society, and how development could be seen. I have a very long associations and professional and personal associations in my early beginning of teaching at Jamia Millia Islamia, and this is over 20 years of our relationship. I've seen her sincerity, commitment, dedications to the subject and to the community, sincere and honest. And she is one who is one of the hope in Jamia Millia Islamia, if I say in true sense. Why Jamia should have these people? They serve to the institution, not to their service and subject only. So welcome you, ma'am, here on this program. We have all the panelists here. Professor Suresh Babu, who has come from Delhi, Zakir Hussain Center for Educational Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University. We have Dr. Sajida Sultana, who has come from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Hyderabad surrounding. We have Shri R. Radhakrishnan as discussant in the next panel discussions. Professor Ibrahim Aladdin, who would be joining online from Canada. Yasir Ashraf, who is also outside, he could not travel. So this is the panel discussion. I welcome all of you and welcome the coordinators of all the technical sessions that is going to be held in the afternoon. Almost 6 sessions we'll be having in this day with some parallel sessions. So I request all of you to be there. Let me also welcome the senior most respected colleagues of the university, Professor Sayyid Ali Masaraf Jaisi Sahab, who is head of the Department of Arabic, Maulana Azad National Urdu University, and he served as DSW of the university, one of the most vibrant DSW who has brought this university at the forefront in terms of real welfare. I also welcome the Dean, School of Social Arts and Social Sciences, Professor P.H. Mohammed Saab, and request him to join over the dais. I welcome Professor Amina Tehseen, Professor Irfan, Professor Muhammad Habib Sahab, who is head of Islamic Studies, Dr. Parveen Kamar, and all of our colleagues who have come from various departments. And most important, I welcome all my dear students, participants, paper presenters to share your papers with us in advance. Friends, we received more than 100 research abstracts, wherein we could shortlist, the committee could shortlist around 60 papers. and I hope that at least 55 papers they present. And the plan is to publish these papers in a book form and a special volume, so that what Dr. Saeed was mentioning, that critically locate whether inclusive education exists in the idea of Viksit Bharat and how it exists, what are the policy gaps we have. With this brief, I welcome once again everyone in this hall and wish you all the best to make this seminar very success. I'll just take 2 more minutes to introduce why we wanted to have it. One, that I personally is not very fascinated about Viksit, but I am fascinated to have this country as Viksit country, so that inclusive growth could be seen. And how we can do that, that could be done only by a sincere critical research. And for that, we wanted to have an open debate. And through this forum, we could open up this Pandora box of understanding inclusive education in the context of Muslim of India, who perhaps would be around 20% by now in terms of their population, but the representation of Muslim as a whole and their gender bifurcations are very much invisible in various forums, as all of you are aware. So I don't go through those data, but I'm sure that you will agree that despite of all constitutional safeguards and state initiatives, we have very strong structural impediments. We have deeply rooted structural negligence. We do carry and live with social stigma, digital gaps, and very hard, deeply rooted gender inequalities that persist in Indian society, and that too among Muslim society as well. And by having those concerns, this is very important for us to unravel those realities through the research people have done. And I thought when we discuss about this topic, we also had references of many studies like Zoya Hassan, the studies of Imtiaz Ahmed that talks about Muslim communities in India and how we have cultural gap. And Bourdieu helps us to understand these gaps, how you explore. Uh, thereby, this seminar is, I'm sure, going to give us intersectional factors to understand inclusive education among Muslims, vis-a-vis the question of caste, class, gender that generally shape educational marginalizations of any community, and so for Muslims of the country. And I am very hopeful that this seminar aspires to deepen this national dialogue of inclusive education. Historically, we have always thought of inclusive education within the school setup only, but we should move beyond that, and how inclusive education is important, and aligning to the academic inquiry with the sociological vision of equality, participatory development that is essential for any development, and so far building a Viksit Bharat. So friends, thank you so much for listening me patiently. I am not really here to talk about the concept note, but there are some of the feelings I had about this idea of the policy and then how we locate. And I'm sure keynote address, the guest over the dais will address these questions and help us to locate the idea of inclusive education in the new India. Very important. I welcome again all of you here at the dais. The Honorable Vice Chancellor of the university has I just spoke to, and he has given his greetings for the program. He could not come for some unavoidable reasons, but he'll be meeting the guest afterwards. So thank you everyone for coming, and all the best for the whole day program. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for your words. Now we will felicitate our guest. We'll honor them by presenting bouquet, shawl, and memento. We'll first honor our guest of honor, Dr. Sujat Ali Kadri. Volunteers, please bring shawl, memento, and the bouquet. Dr. Zia will present the bouquet, memento, and shawl to him. Yeah. Next, I would request Professor P.H. Mohammed to honor Shri Shantanu Mukherjee. Please. Will, yeah. Next, we'll honor Professor Azra Abidi, Head Department of Sociology, Jamia Millia Islamia. I request our head of the department, Dr. Kaim Ziauddin, to present a bouquet, memento, and shawl to her. I again request Dr. Kaim Ziauddin to present bouquet, memento, and shawl to Professor P.H. Mohammed, Dean, School of Arts and Social Sciences, MANUU. Okay, thank you so much. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Sujat Ali Qadri.
He wants to say a vote of thanks. We go to chief guest.
Okay.
Salman will do.
Okay,
Shantanu.
ठीक है. Okay, a small change. I would like to invite Sri Shantanu Mukherjee, former distinguished IPS officer and former NSA Mauritius, to deliver his address.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Dr. Ziauddin, for those kind words. Basically, as he read out from my profile, I've been a cop, an old fossilized version. This is a highly academic topic, and the crowd is absolutely all erudite and brilliant people. But still, I feel very privileged and honored to be invited into MANUU, one of the leading universities here. And I couldn't say no to the invitation, for which I remain indebted to the Vice Chancellor and all those concerned here. Thank you very much for it. As the name says, Maulana Azad National Urdu University. I grew up in Allahabad, was very keen from the childhood to keep abreast with the general knowledge and the current happenings. And our first education minister was Maulana Azad Sahab. So I knew it as a very young fellow. Unfortunately, he passed away in 1958. So anybody asks us to impress, telling his profile and all. God has been very kind that today, after so many years, I'm here in the name of the university I'm addressing. Once again, we're grateful for that. Well, it is about inclusive education, challenges and opportunities for Indian Muslims. Again, I would qualify by saying that I'm not an expert on this, but of late, in the last couple of years, my interaction with a couple of universities, particularly Jamia Millia, AMU, Jamia Hamdard, and others, I got to know the faculty and the students. Very close interaction, socially as well as academically. I was also involved and roped in for the mock interviews for the civil servants. And I found that there is, all those who are familiar with Jamia, there is one RCA there, the coaching academy. And there's a panel, not only me, out of 100 we coached. This year, current result was 32 got selected. So that gave me immense satisfaction about the Muslim youth, all inclusive. And I would say with all confidence under my command, as whatever so many autumns I have seen, that all is not lost. We seem to think, like Professor Ziauddin said, they quoted the numericals 20%, and yet we're there. I've been associated with many interviews and all. I find I've been coaching not only Jamia and others, also exclusively the minority. I find that my appeal would be that don't feel that you are isolated or you are alienated, you are not into it. The effort should be to integrate, irrespective of the whatever you say, the political reasons or anything. You have to be. And then there is, and by experience, without any exaggeration, I'm saying, I saw the sparks in their eyes, all those aspirants, and they are trying including the women, so much of effort they are making to come to the civil service. I'm taking only one stream because of my past career and exposure to that. So they are extremely, and the hope is very much there, not only in the civil services, in the armed forces, and let us dispel the the misgivings that they are academically or otherwise inferior. They aren't like anybody else. I had seen my colleagues in the police, in various factors. I've seen the world in the foreign service. There is no scope of mediocrity. They have excelled, yes, proportionate wise, the population wise, can never measure up to the majority community. That is a fact, which we can't deny. But substance, the best thing in the silver lining is that they have not abandoned their pursuits, the ambitions. Whether you join as teacher, I've got a distinguished professor from Jamia here, she would bear me out. In many departments I've seen, and they're absolutely giving their best. MANUU being located in Hyderabad, and the inspiration itself is the name of Maulana Azad, who was the first education minister. And then during Nizam's time, the Hyderabad provided the best of education. The inspiration could be taken by the students and the faculty. There, the Osmania University, century old. Then the Andhra University. I used to come there on different assignments in the 80s and 90s, and I was astonished by the number of college institutions and everything. In the same breath, I would say the other institutions. And Hyderabad allows you to flourish. This is a concrete periphery and greenery provided. This is just, don't think that. Sarojini Naidu was here, who provided literature. In any field of activity, Hyderabad has contributed. MANUU should not be an exception. And to whatever measure I interacted with a small segment of a student last evening at the dining hall, or here by the faces, by experience I can see, I see a lot of hope. And I don't give up. And I'm sure that MANUU will be able to contribute a lot to it. And here also there's a professor here who was visiting and perhaps he has taught here or he knows. तो हमने पूछा कि वो कहाँ है अभी, बोले चले गए, उनके पुराने स्टूडेंट्स उनसे मिलने के लिए गए हैं. So that Guru Shishya Parampara thing is also noticed in MANUU. This I'm saying is without exaggeration. That bonding, the attachment, they're eating together, there are और भी कैसे वो नहीं है. So that myth must be exploded by experience. There shouldn't be any cause of despair for inclusive education and all. This I find absolutely. And as far as universities are concerned, without any formal curriculum, also I have seen, and you have seen or read, the universities flourishing. So, for example, Shanti Niketan, the classes being run under the tree, as you know, painting, linguistics, other forms of creativity, music, they all flourished way back from 1924, early 20th century. So there has not been any roadblock everywhere. Here you have got the infrastructure, you have got good mentors, good guides, good teachers, the qualified ones, and they are there. And these days the universities are doing so well. Can this be stopped, please? This is causing much disruption. Yeah. Okay. So, I had the habit of visiting different universities. So I've seen all just like that. Not bright enough to get admission in, say, Stanford, Princeton, Heidelberg, or anything. But I found that the products there are no different from the Indian universities. The Sundar Pichais or Indra Nuis or Ajay Bangas who are in the international stage are no different from you all, my dear friends. You have that capacity. You have to capitalize it in your favor, shedding any inferiority that you may have. I'm not saying you have. And the ladies and gentlemen on the dais and here, the seasoned ones who are there to guide, not only sociologically, I'm using the word because it's being held under the aegis of the sociology department and eminent sociologists are present here, that come, join the bandwagon, integrate in other forms, not only going for employment or starting startups and all, into that, absorption, contribution. Coincidentally, 2 or 3 days later, we are celebrating Sir Syed Ahmad Khan's birth anniversary on October 17th. Now here, not very far from here, of course, it is in Deccan and he was in Hindi heartland, Aligarh, Allahabad and Bijnor, etc. But the contribution. So if we take that, it's all right. We accept historically there was no other Sir Syed after him when he passed away in 1898. But there are, look at the vision. It has to be carried forward. And you are not young, and if you are experiencing the difficulties that you are unable to make it, then do identify what are the problems and try to become. You might say, I cannot become Sir Syed, but you can emulate him. Or you can emulate all those educationists important who has contributed a lot to India. The list is endless. I took only one name. And then you find that you will be able to contribute to the society, to the university, and will be able to pay the debts, the ethical and moral debts to the university, which has made you not only a product, a postgraduate or a graduate, but a good, fine, square human being who is worth living and contributing in the society. That will be the biggest achievement. And MANUU, as far as I have studied or I have interacted, whatever little, and I feel अगेन विदाउट एनी अतिशयोक्ति, कोई ज्यादती नहीं कह रहा हूं, कि आप इसको अचीव कर सकते हैं. On this note, say for example, if the faculty is agreeable, I've told this to AMU and other universities, they take absolutely gratis. If you find that there is a lot you can shortlist who feel, I'm talking about my limited capabilities, can make it to the civil service, and you as the teacher identify the potential, then at a particular date you organize, I can come on my own and try to guide them and to coach them absolutely free, or motivate them so that they can make it. So this is an honest offer. And other than this also, if for personality building, now you might think that what is so great in me that I am offering this, it is a genuine service. When I am asking everybody to do this, and I started from myself, and I do it in letter, in spirit, and in practice. So other than preparing you for ये सवाल पूछेंगे तो ये आंसर देना, like 12th fail, no, is general personality development, men and women, how to face, how to improve, because one has been doing the same. It is QED, it has been proven. So it might appear to some of you it's a tall claim, but it is not. I will be able to do it, and here is an offer. You have to be organized and tell us twice a year, on my own I can come, you shortlist, and I can do that. This is an offer for consideration only. This is no imposition, and not I am saying. And I had told that in AMU, but the response had come in fragment. But Jamia, of course, yes, and I am a regular visitor there. So the university, the youth today, not only MANUU, not only the Muslims, it is mentioned here, otherwise is at the crossroads. There are so many things happening all over the world. You may feel at a loss to prioritize कि मैं किसको देखूं, क्या करूं. अभी रशिया यूक्रेन चल रहा है तो इसमें गाजा पैलेस्टाइन हो गया. Then Trump is doing something. India के अंदर there is a problem going on. Social problems, cultural problems, communal problems. How to do that? How to address that? How to handle that? You first, among the student community, remain united, absolutely steadfastly united, trying to develop fraternal values. Am I audible? Fraternal strength, helping each other, and then you see that you are shining and you are able to contribute to India in sort of steadying when it is going off course. Now, bhatak rahe hain. This is incumbent on you also as a private law and order man. This is a strong word. To see that what can you do. If you have got any ideas, then write it, discuss it. It is a digital world. So much of advancement of technology. And then everything is available. Try to draw inspiration, try to do and contribute and suggest what can be done for inclusive education so that a particular community does not feel alienated. It is taking along by others and everyone. This is a must. So I will not take much time, but since we are talking about education, no, this is an energy problem. Thank you. The Tagore, who was also an educationist, and had written something originally in Bangla, but we got it translated into English as an appeal to the young youth. And many of you must have heard it, but no point in ignoring it. But this is the right kind of audience here and there. And since you have heard me with patience, so I will recite it. Where the mind is without fear, where the mind is without fear, it's a small poem, and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, when knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary sand of dead habits, where the mind is led forward by thee, our widening, ever widening thoughts into the heaven of freedom. My Father, let my country awake. Thank you. Thank you once again to MANUU and all concerned for inviting me, and to the distinguished audience for listening to me with so much of attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your words and sharing a lot many things around the whole positivity and what we can do. And also, I am sure that the senior faculties here or our Dean School of Social Sciences, they must have taken note of it, that you offered your services, and MANUU will be greatly, I think, benefited if we really can, take your services for civil services or like coaching our young minds here. So with these words, thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite Professor Azra Abidi, Head Department of Sociology, Jamia Millia Islamia, to deliver keynote address. Professor Azra has done a lot of great work. Actually, she has written in Urdu. She's very well referred here and read throughout like Urdu knowing, students. And she has also contributed to our department, as a BOS member. She has shaped our curriculum and syllabus for the students. Ma'am, please come.
Thank you so much. Respected Dean, School of Arts and Social Sciences, Professor P.H. Mohammed Sahab, Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Shantanu Mukherjee, Convener of this international seminar, Dr. Khwaja Muhammad Ziauddin, Guest of Honor, Dr. Shujat Ali Qadri Sahab, Dr. Saeed, Coordinator of this session, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests, and dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning to all. It's a great pleasure to address this distinguished gathering on a matter that lies at the heart of India's vision for the future. That's why I was thinking to deliver a lecture not only with reference to the vision of Viksit Bharat and inclusive education. I have also tried to accommodate in my keynote address the global insights with reference to inclusive education. So within 20-25 minutes, I will try to sum up my discussion. And if you look the theme that was given by the organizer of this international seminar, it is building a Viksit Bharat through inclusive education, challenges and opportunities for Indian Muslim. So here I want to mention a very important point, that the theme of this seminar reflects both promise and challenges. So here I want to add that a truly developed India cannot be measured solely by GDP growth, technological achievements, or global rankings. It must be measured by whether every child in our country has the freedom to learn, to grow, and to dream. In envisioning a Viksit Bharat, the perspective of Emile Durkheim and Paulo Ferreiro eliminate the dual purpose of education as both a means of continuity and transformation. Durkheim asserted that education is the means by which society perpetuates itself, quote unquote, highlighting its role in transmitting shared values, social norms, and moral consciousness essential for social cohesion. Yet, in a diverse and evolving nation like India, this continuity must be complemented by Ferrari's emancipatory ideal that education should empower learners to critically engage with and transform their realities. Ferrari's vision of reconciling, quote unquote, teacher student contradiction, where both teach and learn for each other, resonates deeply with the goals of inclusive education, democratizing knowledge, fostering dialogue, and affirming the dignity of all learners. As we move toward the vision of Viksit Bharat, inclusive education must become more than policy directive. It must embody India's plural soul. Education is not about access or infrastructure. It is also about recognition, representation, and memory. When any curriculum begins to narrow its historical lens, omitting or simplifying the contributions of entire communities or civilization, we must pause and reflect. Can education that overlooks the richness of India's shared past truly prepare our youth for a plural future? So here is a question mark. An inclusive syllabus must honor the composite nature of Indian civilization, scientific, artistic, linguistic, and culture, built through centuries of collective effort. A Viksit Bharat cannot afford selective remembrance. Inclusion in education must therefore ensure representational justice, allowing every learner to see themselves as part of the nation's living heritage, not as absent voices between the lines of textbook. For Indian Muslims, and indeed for all marginalized groups, this inclusive and reflective model of education is central to building a Viksit Bharat, one that preserves the moral fabric of society, as Durkheim envisaged, and cultivates critical consciousness and social justice, as Freire demanded. तो बस यहाँ पे मैं ये कहना चाहूंगी कि तालीम सिर्फ इल्म का जरिया नहीं, बल्कि इंसानियत को आज़ादी की मंजिल तक ले जाने का भी एक जरिया है. अब ये हमारे और आपके ऊपर मुनहसिर है कि हम इस तालीम को किस तरह से इंसानियत की आज़ादी की मंजिलों की तरफ गामजन करते हैं. और मुझे लगता है कि विकसित भारत का जो विजन, जिसमें इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन के आइडियाज़ को इनकॉर्पोरेट किया गया, इट मे बी अ माइलस्टोन in this context as well. Inclusive education lies at the heart of this aspiration. Inclusion is more than enrollment. It means removing structural barriers, recognizing diversity as a strength, and creating environments where every child belongs. This is not a soft ideal, it is a moral and constitutional imperative. As the scholars have mentioned, with reference to the importance of education for all sections of society. And there is a quote by Islamic scholars I want to share with all of you that ilm इंसान को रोशनी देता है और जहालत अंधेरों में छोड़ देती है. To understand Muslim participation in education today, it is essential to situate it within the historical trajectory, because historical exclusion have long-term consequences that continue to shape educational inequality. Following the events of 1857, the colonial administration systematically restructured India's education policy in ways that marginalized Muslims. The revolt of 1857 was perceived by the British as Muslim-led uprising, and its aftermath, Muslims were deliberately excluded from modern schooling. Educational curricula, language policies, and funding priorities were designed to favor communities aligned with colonial administrative needs, leaving large section of the Muslim population ill-equipped to participate in emerging professions and administrative roles. The partition of India in 1947 added a new layer of disruption. Large-scale migration, demographic shifts, and communal upheaval created social and economic dislocation for many Muslim communities. Families who remained in India faced the challenges of rebuilding livelihoods and community structures in the aftermath of violence and migration. While the Indian state worked to integrate all citizens and provide constitutional guarantees, the socio-historical realities shaped access to education, continuity to schooling, and social capital, creating persistent gaps in literacy, higher education, and employment opportunities. In response to historical marginalization, reformers like Sir Syed Ahmad Khan advocated for modern education while preserving cultural and religious identity. By establishing institutions such as Aligarh Muslim University, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan emphasized that education is not merely instrumental but foundational to societal development and collective empowerment. और इसी सिलसिले में सर सैयद अहमद खां की जब हम तहरीरों पर नज़र डालते हैं और उनकी काविशों पर जब नज़र डालते हैं, तो मुझे एक जगह बहुत खूबसूरत सा कोटेशन मिला जो आपके साथ मैं शेयर करना चाहती हूँ. असरारुस सनादीद में जो 1880 में पब्लिश की गई थी, उसमें एक तहरीर उन्होंने लिखी कि तालीम कौमों की बुनियाद है और कौमें अपनी तरक्की इसी से हासिल करती हैं. बेशक हम सब इस बात से एग्री करते हैं और आज भी कौमों की तरक्की का इन्हिसार तालीम पर है और तालीम भी आज के दौर में क्वालिटी एजुकेशन होनी चाहिए. और इस कौम की तरक्की में किसी मुल्क की तरक्की और उसका मुस्तकबिल भी पोशीदा होता है, जिसका इनकार हम आज भी नहीं कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि कौम जब तरक्की करती है तो मुल्क तरक्की करता है. Despite apparent improvements in enrollment statistics, a closer sociological examination reveals persistent structural inequalities in Muslim majority areas. Data from the Annual Status of Education Report, ASER 2023, indicates that while a majority of adolescents are formally enrolled in the schools, attendance, learning outcomes, and skill acquisition remain uneven. Gender disparities are pronounced. Girls are less likely to access digital tools, technology-enabled learning, and quality instruction compared to boys. Infrastructural deficits, including overcrowded classrooms, poorly equipped schools, and the lack of gender-sensitive facilities, further constrain educational participation. And as a social scientist, I feel These challenges reflect the intersection of historical marginalization, socioeconomic disadvantage, and localized cultural norms, demonstrating that enrollment alone cannot be equated with meaningful educational inclusion. And these, in sociology, particularly in sociology of education, we consider this term and this situation as hidden crisis. These hidden crises reveal that education is not only about access, but also about quality, equity, and empowerment. Beyond structural and economic barriers, contemporary social dynamics also shape Muslims' participation in education. In some contexts, communal tensions, societal prejudices, or the presence of anti-social elements create an environment where families, particularly parents of girls, may feel cautious about sending their children to school. And recently, we are very much about the incident that was happened in Karnataka in the name of hijab. We can understand. While such challenges are not universal and most communities continue to live harmoniously, but these incidents add an extra layer of social anxiety that can restrict mobility and limit opportunity for Muslim communities. Addressing these challenges require more than policy reforms and infrastructure development. It calls for sustained community engagement, interfaith dialogue, and the cultivation of mutual trust, making education a tool not only for personal advancement but also for social cohesion, resilience, and collective progress. For Muslim girls, the challenge is even more complex. Studies such as UNICEF's work in Mewat 2020 reveal a triple disadvantage: religious minority status, gender inequality, and economic deprivation. Girls face higher dropout rates, early marriage, safety concerns, domestic responsibilities, and lack of facilities. These are the contributing factors with reference to girls' education, particularly Muslim minorities. And here I want to mention that the quotation that was given by a very young social activist and educationist and the voice from the Muslim community, Malala Yousafzai. Malala Yousafzai, in her autobiography named I Am Malala, she has written and remind us powerfully. वो क्या कहती है? वो तहरीर करती हैं कि एक बच्ची, एक उस्ताद, एक किताब और एक ये सारे मिल एक कलम, एक बच्ची, एक उस्ताद, एक किताब और एक कलम मिल करके दुनिया को बदल सकते हैं. So this is a very beautiful quotation, and we have to remember that women's participation for the inclusion in the context of inclusion and Viksit Bharat is very much important and significant without any boundary, without any kind of difference. A further dimension I want to pay your attention towards this problem as well. When we are talking about inclusive education and Viksit Bharat, a further dimension relates to Pasmanda Muslims, marginalized subgroups within the Muslim community. They face acute social, economic, and educational disadvantages, living primarily in minority concentrated localities with poor access to quality schools, safe learning environment, and higher education opportunities. Neglect in these communities perpetuates poverty and deepens exclusion from the nation's development narrative. Addressing Pasmanda issue is inseparable from the large goal of inclusive education for all Indian Muslims. Now, coming to the global scenario, or how can we give the idea of inclusion with reference to the vision of Viksit Bharat? So, globally, India can also learn valuable lessons. For example, in Finland, schools operate on the principle that every child, regardless of background or ability, deserves equal access and support, with teachers trained to respond to cultural and learning differences. So this is the first initiative taken in Finland. In Brazil, the Bolsa Familia program linked financial support for poor families to children's schools attendance, improving enrollment for girls, but success depended on accompanying pedagogical reforms. South Africa, after apartheid, integrated multicultural and gender-sensitive curricula, breaking down historical division. In the United States, the Individuals with Disability Education Act ensures children with disabilities learn alongside their peers in regular classroom. Japan and Canada follow similar inclusive models, integrating special needs and culturally diverse students into mainstream schooling. New Zealand's Vahariki early childhood curriculum draws from Myro values of care, respect, and community, demonstrating that inclusion can emerge naturally from indigenous knowledge. Across these examples, one point is clear: inclusion requires transforming teaching methods, governance structure, and the culture of classroom to ensure that every learner belongs. So this is very important. India has progressive framework such as the Right to Education Act 2009 and the National Education Policy 2020, yet implementation gaps remain wide. The AACR 2023 report shows that nearly 25% of children cannot read at grade 2 level. The COVID-19 pandemic has further deepened disparities, especially for marginalized groups and girls in our country. Special disadvantages add another layer of exclusion for Muslims. Minority concentrated localities often lack safe facilities, trained teachers, and gender sensitive infrastructure. Madrasas, while central to culture and religious identity, often operate without modern subject integration or gender inclusive reforms. Reforming madrasas is not about erasing tradition but enriching education while preserving identity. To achieve a Viksit Bharat, we need a comprehensive vision. Inclusion requires targeted resources, gender sensitive infrastructure, safe transport, trained female teachers, financial support, scholarship, stipends, conditional cash transfers with gender specific sensitive gender specific targets, curriculum reforms, mother tongue instruction, gender sensitive content, and cultural plurality. Madrasa reform with access to modern knowledge and participatory governance with active community involvement. Inclusion is not assimilation, it is integration. Recognizing differences as a strength, not deficit, is the essence of pluralism. The foundation of a Viksit Bharat, particularly, I believe this is based on this idea of plurality and with reference to the participation of the entire society. Community participation is essential in this context as well. Parents, religious leaders, and civil society must be engaged. Initiatives linking madrasas with mainstream schooling, grounded in trust, show that inclusive education is possible. Inclusive education is the moral foundation of our democracy and the pathway to justice, equality, and a Viksit Bharat. So, in the end, I want to conclude and I want to share the UNESCO Education 2030 framework. 2030 का यूनेस्को का जो फ्रेमवर्क है एजुकेशन पर, अगर आप उसको देखें तो बात समझ में आएगी, लेकिन एक जुमले में मैं अपनी बात को खत्म करना चाहूंगी कि यूनेस्को एजुकेशन 2030 फ्रेमवर्क सेज तालीम का मकसद हर फर्द के लिए मौके फराहम करना है, ताकि वो अपनी मुकम्मल सलाहियतों तक पहुंच सके. This is the idea of UNESCO Education 2030 framework. And here, the idea of inclusion is inherited. When we promote this idea कि हम उन सलाहियतों को पहचानें और उन लोगों को मौके भी दें ताकि हमारा भारत जो है विकसित हो और हमारा जो विजन है, जो हमारा ड्रीम है कि हिंदुस्तान में तालीम जो एक क्वालिटी एजुकेशन की हम बात कर रहे हैं उसको हम अचीव कर सकें. तो द पर्पस ऑफ एजुकेशन इज टू प्रोवाइड अपॉर्चुनिटीज फॉर एवरी इंडिविजुअल टू रीच देयर फुल पोटेंशियल. तो लेट अस कमिट टू दिस विजन with intellectual rigor, moral courage, and conceptual clarity. Let education heal divisions, build unity, and ensure that every child's right to learn is honored. The journey towards a Viksit Bharat begins in classrooms, policies, and in our hearts. ये जो हमारा दिल है ना, ये जो हमारे जज्बात हैं, इसके अंदर उसको रिफ्लेक्ट होना चाहिए, ना कि वो पॉलिसी और पेपर तक वो महदूद रहे. तो आइए मिल करके हम विकसित भारत का जो सपना है, जो ड्रीम है कि इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन के लिए काम करें. तो इंशाल्लाह वी कैन डू इट, एंड दिस इज आवर कमिटमेंट एज अ सोशल साइंटिस्ट, एज अ सिटीजन ऑफ दिस कंट्री, वी कैन डू इट. तो थैंक यू सो मच. आई सिंसियरली थैंक the organizer for giving me this honor and opportunity to share my views. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Professor Azra Abidi has really, sketched out a lot of issues which are very much complex, which are intersectional, and crises are there. But she also referred, like Shri Shantanu Sahab has referred, yes, we can do many things. And education has great transformative potential, where a lot of these issues can be ironed out, can be challenged, and can be resolved. I remember actually, one of the great policy that was developed in 1960s, Kothari Commission. If picking the last lines of Professor Azra Abidi, the first line of that policy, Kothari Commission report, that start with this which very catchy line that the future of the country shaped in its classrooms. That's very catchy line. And what Professor Azra also referred, that yes, there are lot many things can be worked out in the classroom. Young minds can be shaped in a very distinguished way, in a different way, where they can really take up the challenges of nation building. They can really engage critically in the nation building. This analytical, this open debate, this analytical analysis of the policy called Viksit Bharat itself is a process in the nation building. We are actually adding to the fair process of nation building. Well, Professor Azra Abidi very aptly referred to the issues which are like intersectional, gender, caste, religion, so many things are actually making the issues quite complex. So what she also referred to, I'm just taking few minutes because Dean is here to come. We'll invite him. So those challenges, can be, and I really agreed, with Professor Azra when she said that, yes, education has a great potential to, attain this century goal of Viksit Bharat. So, well, thank you so much, Professor Azra Abidi, for your wonderful lecture, deliberation. You took a very wide, canvas to sketch out all the issues in your brief lecture of around 40 minutes. Yeah, now I humbly invite our Dean, School of Arts and Social Sciences, for his address. Yes, sir. Yeah, you are invited. Yeah, please deliver your remark.
Dr. Shantanu Mukherjee sir, Dr. Sujat Ali Khadri, Azra Abidi madam, Dr. Ziauddin, Dr. Saeed, heads of the departments of different departments, MANUU, research scholars, my colleagues in the Department of Sociology, students, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning to you all. In fact, I thought of sharing detailed views in the afternoon. That in fact I am designated to present my views in the valedictory section, but suddenly there was some shuffling, so you may bear with me because and somehow I did not want to miss this opportunity occasion speaking to you all because this is an important topic that building a Viksit Bharat through inclusive education, challenges and opportunities for Muslims in India, and also this program has been has been organized in collaboration with the organization, Muslim Students Organization of India. Having said that, friends, India is braced for achieving $5 trillion economy by the year 2027 or so. In this, there a program called Viksit Bharat has been envisioned to achieve the country, to take the country into developed, developed countries block. Therefore, friends, there have been, several programs, several activities, several developmental activities in the science and technology, then services sector, then railway sector, and different sectors. Across the different sectors, there have been various programs related, and these programs have to be the Muslim students, Muslim youth need to participate in these programs efficiently and effectively. Because in this context, I would like to invoke the historians and various intellectuals, various scholars, saying that Muslims have lost the great opportunity of mingling with the English initially, because if you look into the literature around that, Muslims were slow to adopt English education in the history because due to whatever the cultural and social reasons that they had, but that created a long void, long gap, huge gap in in attaining the credentials, in attaining the capabilities, and in attaining the intellectual capacities among the Muslim community members. Given this, friends, these are the uh, opportunities like Viksit Bharat and all, that we need to participate, and we need to see our youth, see the Muslim community also, rising to the heights. So the, these few aspects will help us. And also, I would like to invoke in this regard that the students, when we are living in a diversified community and multicultural societies, we need to adapt to certain ethos, which are existing in the society. Because uh, if you go, if we go in our line, and if we don't look into the other aspects of culture norms, cultural ethos, cultural aspects, then it will be difficult for any community to rise and grow in the development, and to participate in the development. Particularly when you are the students, I had also been a student of anthropology in the Hyderabad Central University for almost 10 years. Then I have seen how the life, how the culture, how the living together will be there in the diverse, in the hostels, in the live, in the campuses where the diversified community students from diversified communities will be participating. So you are taking something from the different communities and you are giving away something to those communities. Then there is a merger of merger of cultures, merger of norms, merger of ideas. So that's how we become a nation. That's how we contribute to the nation development of the nation as an entity, as a single group finally. So these things matters most in the development of a nation. And as I said, that the historical mistakes that we have, that a Muslim community has committed by adopting English very late, and also thus becoming into the mainstream in the during the national movement. Thus mistakes should not be done in the context of adapting to the policies and programs that have been that will become part of the Viksit Bharat in the future. So with this few aspects of my understanding covering the topic today, I think I am not very detailed in this context because I did not uh, uh, write a detailed speech in this context. But I take this opportunity to appreciate and take few clues from the speeches that have been made, that have been presented before me by the guests today, Shantan Mukherjee sir, and also my keynote speaker, Professor Azra Abidi. So thank you very much for giving this opportunity. I again take this opportunity to congratulate Dr. Ziauddin and the team and my colleagues of his team in the Department of Sociology for organizing this wonderful seminar, because this is how we rise to occasion. And as Sachar committee raised, there is a lot of dearth with regard to the literature with regard to Muslims and their development and their programs, and there is a need of creation of data bank, and these are the occasions which contribute to the creation of the data bank. And I will request the department and the coordinator of this program to raise a report, and so if possible publish it in the good journal, so that it will reach to the intended people. So thank you very much. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir, aptly highlighting certain issues, capability gaps and all. I think this one day, seminar will take up a lot of these issues during deliberations in the technical sessions. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Sujat Ali Kadri, a young social activist, public intellectual who take immense pride in advocating and highlighting the issues of inequalities, exclusion, and democratic challenges in the country. So, yes, Dr. Sujat, please. Yeah, for vote of thanks.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। पहले सेशन का आखिरी वक्त बहुत ही आप लोग जानते हैं कि सब लोग उठने के इंतज़ार में होते हैं। मुझे वक्त जो दिया गया है वोट ऑफ थैंक्स का, 2 मिनट में मैं वोट ऑफ थैंक्स। सबसे पहले मैं आप सबका शुक्रगुजार हूँ कि आप तशरीफ़ लाए। बिलखुसूस मैं मेहमान खुसूसी इज़्ज़त माब डॉक्टर शांतानु मुखर्जी साहब का, जो बहुत ही मसरूफ़ रहते हैं, इस मुल्क के एसेट हैं, सिक्योरिटी का बैकग्राउंड है, लेकिन दिलचस्पी है उनकी आर्ट से, कल्चर से। आपने अपने बिजी शेड्यूल से अपना वक्त निकाल के तशरीफ़ लाए। हम आपके शुक्रगुजार हैं। हम शुक्रगुजार हैं आज की कीनोट स्पीकर प्रोफेसर अज़रा आबदी साहिबा का कि आप जामिया मिल्लिया इस्लामिया से तशरीफ़ लाईं। साथ में हम शुक्रगुजार हैं इस प्रोग्राम के कन्वीनर डॉक्टर के.एम. ज़ियाउद्दीन साहब का कि जिन्होंने पिछले 1 महीने से लगातार कोशिश में रहे, मेहनत में रहे, जिसका नतीजा आपके सामने है। मैं शुक्रगुजार हूँ ऑर्गेनाइजिंग टीम के सभी मेंबर का, रिसर्च स्कॉलर का, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी का, मानू के तमाम इंतज़ामिया का, और बाहर से तशरीफ़ लाए डेलीगेट्स का, बिलखुसूस डॉक्टर ज़फ़रुद्दीन बरकाती साहब का, डॉक्टर शुरेश साहब का, तौसीफ़ साहब का, अबू अशरफ साहब का, और आखिर में आप सब तलबा और तालिबात का जो इस दरसगाह में, इस तरबियत गाह में तालीम हासिल कर रहे हैं, कि इस सेमिनार में आप तशरीफ़ लाए। आगे 2 और सत्र होंगे, सेशन होंगे, उसमें भी आप लोग तशरीफ़ रखिए और अपने इल्म में इजाफा कीजिए। खुदा हाफिज़।
Thank you, Dr. Sujat. Now, let me add a few lines. We are very much thankful to the administration the university competent authorities for approving this event and helping us out in various ways. And also thank IMC team who are actually, helping us technically, and the guest house engineering section, and also academic collaborator of this event, MSO. We're also thankful to Munsif TV and Siyasat for being media partner of this event. So thank you so much. Now we'll conclude this session with national anthem. I kindly request all of you to stand up for national anthem. Yeah, IMC team, please play national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you so much. The tea is served outside of this auditorium at the lawn. And we will have plenary session here itself. So we will assemble here again after the tea. Thank you so much.